Hello, everyone. Over the past few months, a lot of guys have asked me about dating a single mother. The same thing happened to me. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, so don't do it. Some women didn't like it. A few guys asked in the comments, can you give us a situation or two where dating a single mom would be a good idea? So I gave it some thought. Again, generally speaking, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, but there are times when it might make sense for you. As I go through the list, you'll see that the dating pool will get smaller and smaller. But I thought I'd be helpful and share what I've learned from my own experiences and those of men I've. First of all, I want to say that you should take this with a grain of salt and watch it all the way through. 1. Single moms who have had themselves or their children in the public eye before, like on reality TV, talk shows, or other media outlets. If this is the case, they've learned a lot of people's reactions to them and can anticipate some of your reactions. That kind of woman will be more aware of what might happen and how they might be perceived. 2. They're used to being in the spotlight, whether they love it or not, and can handle any attention they get. 3. They're used to getting flack for who they are, what they do, or what they look like. Some examples of women who might fall into this category are Amber Rose, Kim Kardashian, and Taylor Swift. 4. They're used to getting attention for any reason, positive or negative. That attention might range from the admiration of their beauty or brains to the judgment of their behavior or physical appearance. First, if your kids are about the same age and get along, that's a good sign. In my case, I had a 4-year-old daughter when I met this woman, and she had 2 boys who were 7 and 10 years old. I had never dated a single mom before, so I just went for it for the first 6 months. I like this girl, she's hot, and I want to hang out with her, so her kids shouldn't be a problem for me. The reason it's important to only date a woman with kids if you have kids the same age is that it does matter. You can't ignore the fact that boys and girls are interested in different things. For example, you could go to a trampoline park and jump around, or you could go skiing or something similar. When you're with a girl and her kids, they want to watch TV. They want to play video games. You can't just ignore them and do your own thing if you have kids the same age. Second, don't be that guy who will put his hands on his date's kid when he thinks she's not looking. If this happens enough, your date might not exit the car with you. Third, never take your date's drink. If she knocks it over and leaves you a dirty look, just offer to get her some more water while also getting one for yourself. You'll spend some time together and sometimes apart, and a lot of it doesn't seem very interesting. One kid likes video games, one kid likes working with his hands, my daughter likes to play Pink Princess board games and other similar games. This is very different from what the rest of the family likes to do. Because of this, it's hard to find ways for the whole family to spend time together where everyone has fun and you feel good about it. I see the same situation happening with our family. My wife and I both work, so we don't have a lot of time to spend with our 3 children altogether. Our kids are also very different, which makes it hard to find things that they can all enjoy together. From what I've seen, if you're going to think about this at LTR for fun, you also want the same number of kids. If I have 1 kid and meet a woman with 2, 3, or 4 kids, there will be a lot of problems. If she has more kids than me, it will take up more of my time, money, and resources, and she won't care. In Rollo Tomas's book, he says that women can't love you the way Thomasists to be loved, and that spending more time with the extra kids and getting to know them won't make you more attractive. Keep this in mind, as we're just getting started, and I'm narrowing down the options for dating and long-term relationships with women who have kids. I'm not willing to play the role of daddy. There are other things to consider if you're going to date a woman with children. For example, her kids. If a woman has kids and tells you up front that she's not willing to get married or have another relationship, even for the sake of having more interaction with her kids, don't go looking for a ring. If you're meeting someone who has kids and they have not told you up front, don't make assumptions about their availability or lack thereof. The next point is kind of related to the first. You want to make sure that there's no chance of kids hurting each other. What do I mean by that? Well, as a father of a daughter, I know that the biggest risk to little girls isn't crossing the street or riding a bike without a helmet. It's males of the same bloodline. Now, I don't have any sisters, but if you're a guy and you have a sister, nature has made it so that you won't be sexually interested in her, and she won't be sexually interested in you. This is why, historically speaking, we tend to marry women who are not from our families. Girls are often raped by men who are not related to them by blood. If you don't believe me, ask any girl who grew up in a blended family. Nowadays, we often marry other cultures and people of different faiths, but historically speaking, the whole reason for polygamy was to keep girls from being raped. The next point is kind of related to the first 2 points. If a child is hurt at the park, it might not be because of anything that my children did, but because there was a lack of supervision by someone who could have prevented what happened. What are some consequences you've seen at your son's school? I've heard this story more than once. It happens more often than you might think. So guys, as a parent, be aware of it, and ladies, as a parent, be aware of it too, because you want to protect yourself from it. If I have a daughter and she has a daughter, that might work if they're the same age. Number 3, you want to make sure that you're already local. By local, I mean already pretty much in the same school zone. So if I live here, and that's about an hour away from where she lives over here, I have my kid in extracurricular swimming, soccer, and baseball in her school zone, where her friends are, and my ex-wife also lies about 5 minutes away. We've talked a lot on the channel about hypergamy, and I talked about reverse hypergamy in how not to get a divorced rape. Brandon, you're already here, so it's not too hard to go over there and pick them up from school. It's a 5-minute drive. Number 4, you want to make sure that they don't have things that they need to do as far as picking up their friends after school and doing activities with them and having toys around the house. Most women are economically and financially worse off than men, so they're always looking to marry up and get a better deal. This is called a provisioning play. I've dated single mothers with kids who wanted to mix families and date for a longer time. They also wanted to meet 2 children. All you have to do is look at the numbers I'm pointing out and know when you're being played. My situation was that if I only had 1 kid, I would never even think about dating someone with more kids at different ages or who lived too far away, so you should think about reverse hypergamy. If you want an LTR with a single mom with kids, make sure she has the same or more money than you do. If you do this, you won't have to worry about getting a divorce rate. However, you might still have to pay child support for children that are yours if things go bad a few years later. I'll be honest with you guys, I've coached a lot of guys who are going through a divorce with a woman they met online. The majority of women are not looking for a provisioning play. The majority of women are looking for a relationship that is longer than 1 year and more serious. The percentage of women who will settle for an LTR with little or no commitment is very small, so I recommend you only settle for an LTR if you are 100% sure. She would be willing to take on the same level of commitment. This is not advice I give men, but it is advice I wish I had given myself. I'd like you to think about these things quickly. Make sure the kids are about the same age. Make sure you have about the same number of kids, and make sure you're not putting them in any danger if you have little girls and boys who aren't the same sex. I've talked to a lot of women who grew up in blended household families where they had stepbrothers who molested them, and it's messed up their lives. Reverse hypergamy leaves your thoughts below. I hope this video brings some light to the situation. Hope you like the video. Subscribe to the channel for daily videos. Take care of you all. See you soon.